Okay. Aha. Okay. Aha. NCC 2025. The Band of Kings and Queens is going to begin this December. Let's check this out. Rihanna. A new era is coming. Can you feel the vibe? Just kings and queens, yes, they are on the rise. December 15th to 21st, oh, don't play. At Orchid Lekki Chess Club where legends are made. At this NCC, only the fearless will rise. Ẹ bá mi sọ fún Tersee wípé only the fearless will rise. Triple A mi ń kọ́ o, only the fearless will rise. Odi Robski, Baba ńlá, only the fearless will rise. Only Satemi sing, only the fearless will rise. Omo ẹ̀kún kẹ́ńkọ́, only the fearless will rise. Keyi Lucky Musa, only the fearless will rise. Ẹ sọ fún Jibo àtàbíọ́lá pé only the fearless will rise. NCC 2025. Aha. Okay. Only the fearless will rise. Chief Will. Domuwa. Aha. Ego. Only the fearless will rise.
Good morning. My name is Prince Adeyinka Adewale. I'm the Southwest representative on the board of Nigeria Chess Federation. I'm the current.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm so sorry about that. We are definitely going to come back with that wonderful speech from the Vice President of the Nigerian Chess Federation in person of Prince Adewale Adeyinka. Yep, I'm sorry about that. And we are ready to bring it again, the second round of the Nigerian National Chess Championship, happening straight live at Orchid Lekki Hotel at Orchid Way, Lekki Aja, Lagos. And with me again, we have the fantabulous 1 million Lakpite Oluwadurotimi. Don't mind his height. He's using his height to Komilo Mebeje. It does not work, honestly speaking.
Great to be with you again, Chief Wills. To see the second round of the NCC Invitational. And luckily for us, I think we are going to have all the games being played this round because Tersee, Quick Pen and Chiamaka will both be, back and will be playing in this fantastic round. So, and it's going to be very tough, interesting.
Yes, and before we start again, we have to use this opportunity to just reach out, have this look into our sponsors of this fantastic event, Renaissance African Energy Company. We have Zenith Bank over there. Thank you very much, Zenith Bank, for helping us in there, for supporting chess right now. Indomie also, Indomie noodles has been there all over the years. You want to go for a chess tournament, you eat noodles. I think you play well when you eat noodles.
I think so.
You think so too, right? Yeah.
I've not seen. Yeah. Now, I wanted to say something, but let me just keep that to myself. Let me keep it as a secret so that my rivals will not know how I've been winning all these Blitz tournaments.
So now we know it is the noodles.
I'm not going to reveal anything.
No, you can actually reveal. There are different spices of the noodles. You have the what is it called? The one there's this one that has this chicken flavor, right? I think there is one specifically that my wife onion flavor. My wife loves the onion flavored noodles. So you don't have to tell us the flavor that makes you win the Blitz, but we just know that Indomie is one of the reasons why you're winning the Blitz event.
So now you know. I'm not going to say more than
you will not tell us the flavor, right? No problem. Don't worry, we will catch you. Just don't eat it in our presence. And of course, every chess player needs water when playing chess because you get dehydrated. You get so much dehydrated. Some people will be like, yeah, you just sitting down and playing chess. Oh, more people they sweat inside you see. Sit down, they sweat inside you see. You think saying a normal thing? No, bro. Serious sweating. So you get dehydrated, and guess who's helping us out to stay hydrated in order to play good and quality moves? Lasena water. and that's what we have been drinking throughout this event. And after this event, in fact, I had a taste of the Lasana water. I'm like, whoa, this is actually good. I've been tasting some other, bottled water, but Lasana is, it's top notch. Take it to the bank, top notch. Channels TV is also here, doing their thing. Channels is one of the leading TV stations that have been supporting chess right from day one. Thank you very much for coming. And also to the Lagos State Sports Commission, thank you very much for the sponsorship for this fantastic event. And every other sponsors that we are not able to mention their names, I'm so sorry. You guys have been wonderful. You guys rock. Trust me, you rock.
Any brand supporting chess is a brand we love.
Oh, exactly, 100%. No cap. Let's quickly delve into the games which have actually started, and right now we are having some fantastic games that we'll be showing to you guys live and direct. Trying to see which of the games we should pick first. We are having the pairings. I'm so sorry for not doing that first. We are supposed to share the pairings. This is round 2 pairings, and we are having over here Ajibola, Ajibola, Daniel, Fidemaster, after losing his very first game to Kigigabomo, I believe, yes. Now he's playing against the defending champion who just won Ajibola, Olanrewaju. Fantastic game, anyways. And now we go to this Botu is Keiloki Musa, the man from the north, playing against Olanrewaju Ajibola. Of course, Keiloki Musa also was demolished in the last round by who did he play against again? Callistos, yes, Callistos was able to tell us 1 or 2 things about how the game went. Triple A is playing against Callistos. Ha ha! This is very, very interesting. We would like to see that matchup. But notwithstanding, Ekoke Goodness is playing against Olisa Tennyson. Don't forget Ekoke Goodness. Actually, in fact, there is a backstory between Ekoke Goodness and Olisa. There was a time at which we heard there was a rift online when somebody was mentioning Ekoke Goodness with Olisa Tennyson, and Tennyson was like, "Don't mention my name beside Ekoke Goodness." You know that kind of vibe. So we would like to see what's going to happen on that board this time around. And we have Bartholomew Okikpo, who held Fem Balogun to a fantastic draw. The two of them, they couldn't come for the analysis post-mortem because they stood by the door of the hotel, and they were talking about, I was supposed to be G4. No, G4 was not that good. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't have any play here. They were at it before they walked, at least for like 10 minutes before they walked into their room. Don't worry, we'll get them when they finish this game to come and talk about it. We hope they win, because it's very, very hard, interviewing someone that just lost a very chess. How do you feel being interviewed after a loss?
No. When you lose, especially for most players, they just want to be left alone. They want to just be left alone and focus on maybe winning their next round. So, yeah, I don't.
They want to be left alone. Probably when they get married, they understand that they can't be left alone. It is that time that madam is going to say, "Baby."
Chief Wills gives every opportunity to just put it in my face that I'm not a married man.
No, it's not like that. I thought you said you get married next year, Okay, don't worry, we'll talk about it behind the cameras. Anyways, let's get it on. And we have, again, he's playing against International Master Aikoji Odion. This man has been rocking chess for the past 3 decades, and he's still making things count at this moment. And finally, we have Kidiga Bomo is playing against International Master Balogun Oluwafemi. That's also going to be a fantastic matchup. All the games there are fantastic. All the games there. Nobody is sleeping. Nobody's more snooze. You snooze, the word is you lose. And quickly we dash to the female pairing, which I believe everybody would like to see. We are having Pelemo Jessica playing against Samson Peace. Both of them lost their rounds, I believe. Yeah. So this is going to be like blood on the dance floor. Sorry, this is blood on the fire on the board this time around. Now we have Omori Sandra playing against Sulaiman Azumi. Tersee is playing a very first game against Quick Pen. So it's like the current defending champion versus a former defending champion. What do you think? What's your thought towards this game?
So the pairings of the male and female, I think this is actually going to be one a lot of people will be watching out for. The game between the current female national champion, Tersee. Tersee is very strong, and she has been known in the chess world for a long time. And Quick Pen is the new girl on the block, and a tactical, genius. Everybody always likes to see it. So it will be a very, very interesting game. I'm looking forward to this one in particular. We would see how this game turns out.
Good. And we also have Ajibola Eunice playing against Michelle. That's the gold medalist on the 12th of the African Youth Championship. And she just bagged that's a WFM title, I believe. Yes, that's the WFM title. Bagged that. Of course, Quick Pen also just bagged the WFM title. And she played in the under 20 category to even get that title. She wanted to win. If she had won, she would have gotten the WIM title straight up. That's the goal. And Erabo Joy Felix is playing against Michael Bridget. That's going to be also fire. And we have our wonderful Fabiano Caraona fan girl in person of Abdusalam Azizat taking on Onoja Iyefu Joy. This game, well, I'm expecting. She played white in the first round. Azizat played white. Yes,
she did.
Sacrificing the pawn, taking control of the center, and now she's white round 2. Having 2 whites in the very first day. What do you think?
Well, she must make use of them.
I'll be while it counts, or else. There is no else anyway. Now we quickly go to the board, and we are definitely, because of what is it called? I believe because of the female that we've spoken about, we will actually be settling for that beautiful game between our lovely, Quick Pen versus and Ofowino Torishemua. 2 champs. And all Lel has not let loose though, but just in case, if you've not seen it, I'm going to be sharing the screen right now. Everybody sees what's going on. Bam, 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 bam. The lady on the left, actually, on the camera, it's actually Tersee, please, just in case some of you guys don't know who Tersee is. And let me adjust this very well to be perfect for everybody. And we good to go. Something like that. Yeah, sure. This is we, live and direct. I believe you can all see this perfectly. Yeah, we're good. So I'm going to hand over the mouse to our chief analyzer on the blog, the man that sees more than the engine.
I have.
You don't know about that?
I don't know about that, but like we always say in all the previous, every time we are doing analysis, we are just trying to get a feel of how the players are, what they are thinking, what they are feeling. So we try not to use any chess engines. We are trying to get into the players' minds to see what what they are thinking. So, like I said, the hottest match of this round is the game between Tersee versus Deborah Quick Pen. And
I'm so sorry. I was supposed to bring this to everybody's attention if you're on the live stream. You have the next 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, to predict the result of all these rounds. 30 minutes to predict the result of all these rounds from the female and the male. Once you can do that correctly, please, you have to make that prediction right here on our page. Once you can get it correctly, then you stand a chance of getting 2,000 naira every. Let me see. I'm supposed to have done this, but I'm going to do this anyways.
Wait, so get the correct result of all the games?
All the games.
It's not making it.
No, male, female. Male 2K, female 2K. So for the male, you get the 6 correct result, you get 2K. For the female, you get the 6 correct result, you get 2K. But now, in a situation whereby you couldn't get, nobody got it right correctly. Now, the person that has the highest score Like highest prediction rate will be the ones who get the 2K.
Okay.
In the case where two people are getting it, the person that has that submits his answer first or predictions first will be the one to pick the prize as fast as possible. So in the meantime, in order to facilitate this for people to join the stream, we are going to be removing one of the cameras. Although we hearing, we talk at the background there, but the problems, we just need to do this and bring this one up here so we can work on that as fast as possible. But FM, he's an FM. I don't know why he didn't want to get the title. Probably he's looking for the GM straight title. Lakwetola Durotime is going to be walking us through the games one after the other. So thank you.
Okay, so let me quickly delve into the game between Quick Pen and Tersee. So here Tersee is playing with the white pieces, defending champion. She starts a campaign with the move e4, and Quick Pen is known for playing the French once in a while. She plays a lot of openings. So let's see what Tersee chooses. Knight c3. This is supposed to be the most challenging line against the French. Knight c3, bishop to b4, knight e2. That's an interesting surprise. So this is more like a pawn sacrifice. And I first saw this idea in a game played by, I think, Alexander Alekhine. Pawn takes a3, bishop, knight takes, and then knight f6. Okay, so bishop g5. It seems both of them are still aware of this line. h6, bishop captures, and then knight captures e3, followed by queen f3. Okay, so I guess with the move queen f3, Tersee is already showing her intentions to castle queenside and maybe go for a pawn storm with a g4, h4, g5, or even the direct g4, g5. She's going to try to maybe castle queenside and go for that. Maybe that's what she's thinking about. But let's see how Quick Pen reacts to this. Quick Pen just castles her king and says, you know, I'm not really worried about anything. And here, Tersee is taking some time to think about it, about how she wants to react to. I mean, there are many interesting ideas. There is always this idea of playing bishop d7 and bishop to c6 solid and getting the bishop into the game and following it up with knight d7. But I feel like if Tersee decides at some point to castle queenside, then we are really going to be in for some fireworks. And I'm looking forward to fireworks. Maybe there's also the idea of f5 and e5. We don't know. Okay, so that's one of the games of the female section. Let's also check out the other games. Pelomo Jessica lost her first game. Samson Peace also lost her first game. So both of them will be trying to get off on the scoreboard. Pelomo plays the London system. It's almost exclusive, opening as white. She's always playing the London system. Knight e5. Very interesting. Knight e5. Not willing to exchange knights. c5, c3, castles, knight d2, c4. Okay, so I was thinking that if okay, knight c4, but what about the move pawn to b3? I believe that was worth considering, but maybe there is this idea of pawn to b3, and if a4, then b4. I don't know if that's a possibility here. If takes, then you have this move pawn to c3, trying to chase this knight away, and then finally capturing with this. So maybe that is why she didn't go for that, and she played the move g4. g4. That's quite a move. Okay, I mean, even in the case where white plays g5, just knight e8. And then you can, let's say, play pawn to b5. If pawn goes to g5. Let's look at some sample variations. So pawn to b5, pawn goes to g5, knight to e8. But I don't see how white wants to continue this attack. I don't see how white wants to continue this attack. Maybe queen h5 with the idea of knight g4. But this seems too speculative. This seems too speculative. Rook here. I mean, there is potential for some interesting things happening. Rook to g1 with the idea of rook to g3 and rook to h3. But black also has a lot of defensive resources. There's g6, knight g7, knight f5. There's so much black has. Okay, we'll see how this game develops. Let's see the next one. Omoru is Sandra versus Sulaiman Azumi. Okay, so d4, knight f6, c4, knight c3, bishop b4, takes on f6. Okay, so it's just the standard Queen's Gambit declined position. I think I've seen this a lot of times. We'll wait for some development there. This is the game between Tersee. Nothing has happened yet. Okay, so we have Michelle Ajibola Eunice versus Nwako Michelle. Let's see how that opening develops. c4 for the English opening. And here, Chiamaka Michelle has chosen a kind of Slav setup, an exchange Slav. In the African Youth Chess Championship, she actually played this position as white, and she won like I think 2 games with it, with this exchange Slav idea. So let's see how she handles this from the black side. Knight f3, knight f6, bishop g5, pawn to e6. Well, just to mention that more common is maybe bishop f4, with idea of putting pressure on the queen side, maybe some rook c1 with knight a4, knight c5 ideas. But the move bishop g5, it's interesting. Knight e5 is interesting. Okay, e6, a6, trying to prevent bishop b5. I'm not sure if that was necessary, but okay. Bishop e7, rook c1. So white is trying bishop d7, h3, playing some waiting moves. Doesn't want to castle yet, but I don't see any reason why you shouldn't castle. Castles, h6, rook to c8, yes, queen to c2, h6, bishop to f4, and knight a5. Yes, this is very typical in this position, especially because the white queen is on c2. So a lot of tactical ideas are possible. Ideas like knight e4, ideas like knight c4, ideas like b5, b4, but maybe more likely is a move like knight to c4, trying to put pressure on the white queen side. I actually think that maybe black might be. I just don't like this queen on c2. I would like it to be an undersquare, and that's. But yeah, let's quickly do the roundup and check the remaining games before we go to the male section, open section. Okay, bishop takes, knight takes, d5, e3, captures. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary here. And we have some standard position. Maybe the most important thing for black to do now is to try to see if she can get a bishop into the game. Maybe ideas of b6 and then bishop b7 at some point in time, getting a bishop into the game. And I think the position should be should be a bit level. Okay, let's quickly see if what is happening. The famous Fabiano Caruana fangirl playing with the white pieces is playing the London. Knight f3, e3, bishop f5. So one of the most critical moves in this position is, but it's not here. You play, okay, let's see what happens. Bishop d3, queen captures, knight c6. So if black had just continued developing, there was this threat of queen b5 check, attacking the king and also attacking the pawn on b7. So I believe that is why Onoja Iyefujoy played the move knight to c6, so that now queen b3 can just easily be met by rook b8, protecting the pawn on b7. So pawn to c3 is played, knight d2, knight f3. This is a very popular idea. The point being that if black captures on f4, you don't mind, because your knight gets this fantastic square, and when you castle, you will also get the open file for your rook. So that's why Fabiano Caruana fangirl Miss Abdusalam Aziza decided she just develop her pieces and castle. Okay, she didn't castle, she played queen d7, playing for e4, trying to change the structure. Pawn captures, knight captures, and knight to d5. Okay, pawn to a3 is played. I'm guessing the idea of pawn to a3 is that you want to play the move pawn to c4. f5, knight captures d6. And now this bishop is being threatened, and h3. Okay, this is a bit interesting. This knight is nice, but maybe it will be kicked out with c4 at some point. After maybe castling, then you play c4. Okay, all right. So a lot of things have been said about the female section. This game is interesting. We would also try to keep up with the game between. So the game has followed the line that we talked about. After queen f3, castle and castle long. I was pointing out that there was the idea of getting the bishop first to this diagonal. One of the most important things in a lot of openings is that black wants to find a way to get this bishop into the game. And some of you might just be like, oh, why not just play pawn to b6? Well, the reason is simple. Here, white probably will play the move knight f3 check, and will just capture the rook on a8. That's probably the reason why discovered check or discovered attack, or which is it? I don't know the names of these tactics, but the rook gets picked up. So that is why Quick Pen played the move bishop d7 to bishop c6. Very important to develop this bishop. And once this bishop gets to this diagonal, then maybe black is on for some counter play. Already probably will be thinking about f5. For example, let's say the king goes to b1, bishop here is already, is already telling you that f5 is on the way. So Tersee has to probably be careful here. All right, let's quickly switch to the male section and try to see what is happening. Of course, there is no other game for us to start with than the game where the national champion, the defending national champion, is playing with the black pieces against FM Akisha Ajibola, who lost his first round game. So he'll probably be looking to bounce back. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, and the Roy Lopez. Akisha is known for playing the Roy Lopez as white. Knight F6. Let's see which variation. Okay, so he plays the quiet D3. This is one of the systems I like the most. So one might D3 is, one of the systems to play. One of the problems with castling is that there is this open variation where you play, I think, is it knight times e4, and then after pawn to e4 you play maybe pawn to d5, I believe, something like this, open variation. Can't remember how it goes. So by playing the move pawn to d3, you make the game a bit slow maneuvering, and it's Carlsen, one of Carlsen's favorite ways of playing the Royal Lopez as white. b5, bishop to b3, castles, d6, and now one of the ideas for black is that you play the move knight a5, going after your opponent's bishop on b3. So that's why the next move, one of the reasons why the next move is played pawn to c3, trying to expand in the center, and also making sure that if black plays knight a5, your bishop is always safe. For me, I think in this position, I usually play the move pawn to a4, solving the problem of my bishop and also threatening to open up the a file. So that's another idea. But pawn to c3 is played. Castles, rook to e1, reinforcing the center so that when you play pawn to d4, this pawn is protected. One is one of the reasons. And then the famous Roy Lopez maneuver, knight d2, knight f1, knight g3, is initiated by Akishaya, bishop b7, knight f1, rook e8, and then knight g3. And then the knight is well placed here, has ideas of coming to f5 for some kingside activity. So let's see how bishop f8 is played. Knight f5. Knight f5. But in this position, it feels a bit premature. Like, it feels more important to play maybe a4 and then pawn to d4, h3, and some improving moves before you finally play the move. Before you finally play the move knight to f5. Because even though the knight is on f5 right now, it is not doing so much. But let's see how that goes on. Chief Wales is back with us to help transition.
Yeah, back here. So sorry about that. Again, for those of us that predicting, don't forget to make your prediction correct, and you stand a chance to win. Predict for both male and female. For male, 2K. For female, 2K. You stand a chance to win prizes. And I can see people's predictions coming. Kere, Alagua, the Brave Dave, Wisdom is there. Chess with Christ is there. Chess with Christ is actually doing for female at the moment. Oh, the nice one. Okay, let's go back to the game. We can enjoy the moves as it's coming in hot. Thank you.
All right, knight f5. So usually we want your knight to be on f5, but somehow here it feels premature. It feels like it's not yet ready to, like the whole of your army does not support this knight like the knight on f5. So it's just standing there looking pretty, and Ferdinand Tersee quickly plays d5, trying to break in the center, for this diagonal for the bishop. And let's see how the game goes. Queen e2, pawn times e4, pawn times e4, knight a5, going after this bishop. Of course, white would not want to part with his beloved bishop. And this is where we have the current position. Okay, it seems more or less equal. It's going to be a long maneuvering game. Let's see the next one. Kei Lucky Musa versus Ajibola Olanrewaju.
The man from the north.
Yeah. a4, c5, knight f3, and bishop e2, knight c6, and castles. Pawn to e5, pawn to c3, d5, e5, queen d5, rook e1. Okay. Knight a3, So it seems like K.E. Lucky had some ideas prepared. E4, D4. Wow, what a move! What a move! This is
So what was the idea? I don't understand.
D4. So let us check out what happens if black just plays the move, pawn captures on E4. So let's try to spend some time to think about it. Okay, so the easiest thing to see,
First things first is bishop takes pawn.
bishop takes, and
Right.
then when the queen
moves away.
to let's assume the queen moves to D8, there is a move D5. If black follows and just says, okay, you know what, I'm going to protect my piece, I'm going to just move to a safe square, maybe B8, maybe A5, maybe A7. Doesn't matter. Let's put it on a square. Let's for the sake of argument, let's put it here. The idea is to play the move pawn to D6.
Oh my goodness, that's brutal.
We're making use of this pin on the bishop. So that was a very interesting idea. It's not really clear how much of this is preparation or inspiration, but that's an interesting idea by Musa K. Lucky. D4, saying to Papa, that's FM Olanrewaju, that, well, you know, you have not really developed your pieces. You are doing all these things. You have not really developed your pieces. You have not castled your king yet, and you just want to start pushing my pieces backwards. And no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to, strike in the center with the move pawn to D4. I like it. Pawn to D4 is played. Knight F6.
Interesting.
Knight G5. Okay, that's interesting. I was also wondering about the move pawn to C4.
No. I think you see the sneaky idea behind knight to G5 because he wants to put the bishop on C4.
All right, but what happens if the opponent just castles? Because
He's still going to play the bishop C4, I believe.
Yeah, but there are actually many interesting things to consider. There was knight C4 with the idea of knight B6. There is pawn to C4 with the idea of expanding in the center. Yeah, and there was knight G5. This is a kind of position that I'm known to take like 1 hour just sitting down, trying to burn through the variations to calculate every move to find out which one is the optimal way. So either C4, knight C4, knight G5, or it might even be another move that nobody considered. Maybe So that's actually a very interesting idea by K. Musa. So
somebody said Musa went to collect power.
Indeed, has gone to collect power.
Musa don't go collect power.
Has gone to collect power.
That's interesting.
So here, there are maybe two ways to stop bishop to C4. Maybe pawn to B5, and if you just castle, I think castle is the most sane way. Bishop to C4 is played, and then pawn to F3. K. Musa is doing everything in his power to open up the position before black can settle down. I feel like this is actually a very interesting game. E captures on F3, knight captures on F3, and then after pawn D4, pawn D4. Okay, so right now he's threatening the move pawn to D5, and after, if the knight moves away, then rook times E7 will be played. So just pawn to D5 and then rook times E7. So now it's time for FM Ajibola to think about it and try to come up with an acceptable solution. Maybe this looks
bishop takes knight.
Looks like the easiest solution. Might not be the best solution. It might turn out that long term, you are not happy with that. So he has to think about a few things. All right, let us check out the game between FM Abdurrahman and FM Donyefa Callistus. These two have played, is it the $1 million match or the $1 million match?
Yes, that is. Let me remember. It's the battle. Rights. It's actually the battle of. Winner takes all.
Winner takes all.
Yeah,
and
it's winner takes all.
So they are
chess challenge. Winner takes all.
They are very familiar with their styles.
It was 1 million naira match actually. Each of them brought 1 million naira to the table. Actually, Abdurrahman issued a challenge to the entire Nigerian chess community. Didn't you see the challenge?
I'd been chosen to do commentary on that game.
Okay, now I get it. So actually, he threw up the challenge to everybody in the Nigerian chess community. Like, you know what? Who is down here that can take me 1 million? And nobody. That was the day I realized that we have lots of online people. You know, they were like, I can beat Abdurrahman any day. Now is the time to come and beat Abdurrahman with money. Nobody showed up except for the young man who was able to get a sponsor. I believe he was sponsored for it. Yeah, he got a sponsorship for it. It's Callistus. And here we are. And they are playing again. After, wait, did they meet even after that period? I don't think so. They met in tournaments?
They met a couple of times.
They met National Friends of Chess? I don't think so.
I'm not sure which.
I'm not sure, but probably at the zonals maybe. But, yeah. But of course,
at the zonals. It was a draw.
It was a draw at the zonals. So this is interesting. Show us what's going on at the moment.
Yeah. So at the zonals, Abdurrahman had to defend maybe a worse position at some point, but here he's playing white. Let's see how he's taking it. Knight f3, d5, d4, c4, and he's going for the well-known exchange slab. Is a semi-expert in these lines, in this exchange slab. So you should check out his games if you want to learn a few things about that. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop f4, which is the more traditional way. In the game between Eunice versus Chiamaka, we saw the move bishop to g5.
G5, yeah.
But here bishop f4 is played, which is the more popular way. Bishop f5, pawn to e3, pawn to e6, queen b3, trying to put pressure on the black queen side. That's the idea of this line, trying to put pressure on the black queen side. The bishop also helps to fight against maybe a rook defending this b pawn. So bishop b4 played, blocking the side of the queen, as Chief Wills has said. Knight e5, trying to remove the defender. Sorry. Yep. Trying to remove the defender if knight captures, pawn captures, and maybe queen captures. Of course, life doesn't work that way. Then queen a5, putting more pressure here. But somehow I believe FM Abdurrahman both of them probably, they are very familiar with this line. Knight captures on c6, pawn captures.
Then rook. Oh, you just kicked the bishop immediately. I was even thinking it was going to be playing rook from a to c1. So now I'm rook to c1, but I'm now realizing that rook a to c1 might be a little bit problematic because it's easy for black to just put the rook on b8.
No, but rook b8 is not possible.
Oh, rook b8 is not even possible. Well, maybe immediately then knight to e4. Yeah, tripling on that guy over there as fast as he can.
Yeah, but I think one of the ideas maybe with a3 here is that black is trying as much, and white is trying as much as possible to gain the two bishops. If he's able to gain the two bishops, he's probably going to try to play a long end game. So let's say bishop captures, queen captures, pawn captures, and then at some point you just play maybe a move like pawn to f3, preventing the knight from coming to e4, and then you'll be able to make use of the power of the bishop pair, the fact that you have two bishops, and white will be the one who will be much better. So bishop captures on c3, queen captures, pawn captures.
And that's exactly what happened. a5, clamping it down as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And the rook, I don't think black needs to castle anymore because it's a question of just moving the king out, probably to e7 or d6, then the rook can connect. I think the only open file right now is the b8. Unfortunately, it's not easy to access that b8 for black because of that annoying bishop. I think that I won't be surprised if I start seeing knight h5.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Knight h5 doesn't do so much because the bishop can always just come
to the king comes out to attack the bishop,
and then bishop just enjoys his stay on c5, or sometimes it can even go to c7 and then go to b6. So there are so many. This bishop, you are not going to give it up easily. And the knight on h5 might look a little bit silly. There is always the idea of f3, g4, or bishop e2, g4, and expanding and all the stuff. So rook a2 is played. Probably Abdurrahman wants to quickly take over the b file. He doesn't want his opponent to get the chance to do the same thing. So for instance, if he tarries a little bit, it's possible that his opponent will start considering moves like rook here. And by the time he does this,
it's too late.
Yeah, the rook already controls the opal file. So this is probably why Abdurrahman started with the move rook a2, getting ready to play rook b2. Okay, so that is there. After the move, castles, pawn to f3, like we talked about, pawn to f3. And the idea is that knight h5 can easily be met by bishop here, and we always have g4 in the air. So f3 controls the e4 square, gets ready to gain space with pawn to g4. I believe that white is already showing signs of being slightly better, but let's see how Abdurrahman intends. Let's see how Kadustos intends to defend. G4 is
G4
played,
immediately, yeah.
and then he has gained some space. Also prevents any ideas of knight h5
in the
ever.
future.
And you are getting ready to play bishop e2, king here, maybe getting the rook here, at some point, or even playing h4, rook h2, getting the rook to b2.
Oh.
So h4 is played. H5, and okay, he's thinking about what to do. So he plays gh5, which is slightly surprising. I would have thought that he would just want to keep the structure intact, maybe by playing the move pawn to g5.
And that chases the knight where? To either e8 or...
Yeah, most likely
D7?
the knight will go to d7.
d7.
Yeah.
And now, are you moving your bishop out first, or you're moving your king out first?
No, but I don't even think we need to move anyone. Yeah, just play rook here.
Rook lift? Because I'm actually looking at the rook lift from the perspective of pawn c5 straight, because black wants to play pawn c5.
Pawn to c5, yeah? Pawn to c5, we don't react, we play bishop to b5.
Okay. Pawn to c5, bishop b5.
And there, we never get in danger on the background. But it's interesting, the move. So this is one of those tough moments. The move. So if he's playing h4, that means he must have considered h5, that his opponents respond h5. So he was already ready to play pawn times h5, which is not... It's not so clear to me. For me, I would have taken some time. I might have considered even playing h3 before doing anything. But, okay. But, yes. So, yeah, like I would have considered that my opponent will play h5 at some point. So I want to keep the move h3 in reserve. For instance, let me just play rook b2. Let me just to show what I'm trying to say. So after h5, there is h3.
h3 immediately.
And then this structure, you just keep your structure intact. So, but h5, h4 played here is very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. h5, h4. h4, h5. gh5, I'm surprised by. Or you don't you feel that there's, don't you feel any pressure here?
I'm looking at it from the perspective of after bishop takes pawn, right? Bishop takes pawn on it.
But also knight
even knight takes. Knight takes is trying to attack the bishop as fast as possible. Now, white needs, you don't want to lose that bishop.
Yeah.
So where do we want to go to? Do we want to go to d6?
Yeah, let's go to d6.
So we go to
preventing
d6.
c5.
Preventing
also.
c5. And now, unfortunately for us, it's looking like our own wonderful knight is looking so ridiculous on h5 right now after the bishop went back to d6.
Yes. Okay.
f7, f7.
f6.
I mean f6. But I'm not seeing any future plans for the knight.
So you prefer.
So probably bishop takes, at least hitting on the pawn. Now you have to defend that pawn one way or the other.
Okay, let's say king f2.
King f2.
Yes.
Then we can now decide to just run back with the knight to, or can we play c5 immediately? We just need to get out of that place.
c5, yeah.
Just immediately. We just need to, as fast as we can.
But there's no threat per se. So
No, not threat per se. If we want to take first as black, I think we're taking the pawn on d4 first as black. pawn takes, that will actually give us a room for our other rook.
Yes, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, let's say, for instance, bishop d3 is played. Okay, what do you want to do?
Bishop d3.
Yeah.
Just immediately right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, bishop is not doing anything. It's just taking a diagonal, right?
Yeah, I just don't want the bishop to come back.
So let's take the pawn immediately. That's the first things first.
Pawn takes d4.
Pawn takes d4. Then rook comes to attack the bishop now.
Rook comes to c3.
Then you have to start
comes
defending.
To d1.
Then can we bring our second rook now to where should we go to? Is it going to a7 or we should go? Excuse me. Should we go to
double?
Oh, hold on a second. You taught us something. Remember when you were saying this, making a move and developing out of it.
Okay, so what? How?
But my problem now is I'm trying to see where that knight can go to next. Are you seeing the idea?
Yeah, but that was one of the ideas of the move pawn to f3. It takes a lot of good squares away from the knight. So there is, there is not much prospect for this knight.
Okay, rook.
At least in the
rook d8 doesn't do anything because the bishop is going to pin it.
Yeah,
it's pinning the knight. I'm looking for a way where I can bring the rook or the knight to be able to take, get in there. Unfortunately, wait, hold on a second. Wait, what happens if the knight goes into? Let me just simplify. If the knight goes to e4, what will you do?
Knight goes to e4.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
That's a fantastic move. I didn't see that.
Oh, that was what I was talking about the pin. Remember Callisto's game that you had to develop with the knight.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was. But I was looking at where else is the knight going.
If you just move to a safe square, yeah.
Yes, if the king just moves to a safe. Oh, but yeah. So what's next? The problem I'm having is what's next, because I'm not seeing where else the knight is going to.
Yeah, but that's an interesting move to miss. Knight e4.
Knight c4?
No.
Okay, knight e4, right?
No, but even if you don't, just keeping the knight there might be good. Just keeping the knight there might be very good. Okay, let me take it back then. Bishop f5, pawn captures. So most likely it's going to capture with the bishop. Or maybe there's a specific idea where no, there's no specific idea. There can't be any specific idea.
Oh, sorry, did the first idea.
There is no specific idea. Okay, we'll come back to this. Let's not take too much time on this. Let's quickly look at the game between Ekunke Goodness and Olisa Tennyson. So Ekunke Goodness, for as long as I've known him, generally is an e4 player. So it's a bit of a surprise to see him with the move pawn to d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, bishop f4, c6. Okay, it's a London system. Knight d2. Now I used to play the London, and when I have this position, I usually play for a quick rook to c8. And the idea is that the rook is, eyeing the queen on c1. So here I'm thinking about some ideas about capturing on d4 and maybe knight b4 or stuff like that. That's what I'm usually looking out for. But Tennyson goes his own way. He plays the move e3. Either he's trying to, maybe he felt Boy Goodness was prepared for something, because that's the usual way, I think. Just play rook to c8 for pressure. Okay, e6 is played. Rook to c8, mentioned before. Pawn captures, bishop, e2. Castles, and rook to e8. Okay, so Tennyson is trying to make use of the fact that he has some mobile pawns in the center, trying to play for the move pawn to e5. Bishop g5 is played, and we have the current position. I slightly prefer black in this kind of positions. I like when I have like extra central action, and black's rooks actually look better. Black's pieces generally look better developed this queen makes an odd impression. It has to be here.
Says it made an odd impression.
Yeah, it has to be here protecting this pawn on b2. And if it moves away, this pawn on b2 is hanging. But if it doesn't move away, then this rook is always eyeing this queen.
Yeah.
And there's always some tactical ideas in mind.
Some d4s coming in the not too distant future.
Let's say bishop e7, some knight here, some e5, even just ignoring this and playing for pawn to d4. So there are so many interesting ideas here. That's why I'm surprised about Goodness's willingness to just enter into this position. But okay, let's quickly check out the last one.
Is that the last one or second to the last? Or Diana Koje versus...
okay, yeah.
The second to the last, I believe.
Yeah. So, Ohipo Batlogo and I am Aikoji Odion. This is a Slav, well known as one of I am Aikoji's main weapons against d4.
When he doesn't want to play the... what is it called? I think he plays the Slav mostly against the d4.
Yeah, he plays the Slav.
It is the e4 that you now have to start looking at his Alekhine at one point in time. Yeah,
he plays against e4. He likes to play Alekhine, like French, once in a while. Okay, e6, knight h4. This is well known.
Immediately.
Yeah, so the idea here is simple. This bishop, like I mentioned earlier, there are two general ways to take advantage of, well, not take advantage, but to put your opponent under pressure if he plays the move bishop f5. Either you play queen b3 at some point, going for the b7, going to put pressure on the b7 pawn, or you play the move knight to c3, knight to h4. For instance, trying to get the two bishops, because this bishop is a very important bishop, controls a lot of diagonal. So knight h4, knight captures on g6. So I play these positions a lot. I prefer to play the move bishop e2, keeping the tension until, So for instance, let me just show you a sample variation. Pawn to g3, until my opponent castles, for instance, before I capture on g6, so that it doesn't open up the h file for his rook. So that's why I always try to keep that tension until my opponent castles. But there is also this way, you can play this way and play bishop d2. This is also a well-known idea. You just have to, it's just a matter of taste.
Matter of spice of the Indomie. Yeah. These onions.
I don't know which one you prefer, Chief Wheels. But yeah, bishop d2.
I think the chicken makes sense. The chicken makes sense.
Chicken is not bad. After queen b3, in my mind, the move I'm more used to in this position is queen b3. Then you lure the bishop, you lure your opponent's queen.
Okay, what happens here? Oh wait, hold on. It's working. Why? I'm sorry. Sorry, we just got word that we should check our Wi-Fi, and it's actually working perfectly. And by the way, we are using the. Let me not mention the name of the Wi-Fi here because and they are not sponsoring the event.
Oh, they are not, yeah.
Yeah, they are not part of the sponsors of the event. We'll have gladly mentioned their names. But okay, no problems. They have to pay me for this promotion if they get them. Anyways, in case of next time, I believe the Wi-Fi that we're using right now is from MTN. Although they're not a sponsor of this event, but we believe probably going forward they will be able to sponsor. Even if it's just giving us unlimited data for the duration of the event. It goes a long way. Yeah, sure. Anyways, we'll talk about it later. Thank you very much. Yeah. Back to you, boss.
No. So I'm a bit surprised.
But queen b6, calling for the queen exchange. You felt it was too early, or what exactly was the problem?
Sometimes you try to dribble your opponent here. You play queen b3. Your opponent plays queen b6, and then you play queen c2, and then you say that in fact your queen is slightly better placed here than your opponent's queen on b6, which looks a bit silly, and which can get into some c5 tempo depending on what is happening. So there are little nuances here. But Okipo played the move H3, probably just anticipating that one day.
Don't worry, continue.
Probably just anticipating that one day he might castle kingside, and he doesn't want any ideas of rook captures on H2. So A6. So now, earlier, Okipo did not want to capture on B6 because if he captures, then the pawn captures, and there's the A file becomes open, right? But by playing the move H3, by playing the move A6, now he's saying that, okay, I'm ready to capture now since I don't mind this change
in structure.
Like the structure remains the same. Sorry, so pawn to C5 is played, knight D7, and here I was actually thinking that black has two ideas: to play for B6
or to play for E5.
Or to play for E5. So I was wondering which one should I prevent? Should I play F4, preventing E5? Or should I play B4, anticipating B6, but letting you play E5?
I get it.
So,
but I would probably try to prevent E4, E5, from just one small perspective, because I feel after the pawn, if B5 happens, pawn takes. I'm so sorry. Where is this sound coming from? How do I mute this one over here? Mute.
So here, B4 is played, E5, bishop D3, bishop E7, castle short. Okay, so Odion has started his maneuvering, which is well known from the London. So here you play knight F8, and you play the move knight E6, trying to put pressure on this pawn on D4. One person is not going to be enough. So for instance, let's just make some moves. Knight E3. Black will continue with maybe a move like knight D7, and then let's say A4 is played. Black will continue with a move like knight D7, threatening bishop F6, trying to put more pressure on this diagonal. For instance, sorry,
go on.
Let's make some move. Let's say B5, for instance. There's always. Let me try to illustrate. Here already it seems like maybe there is a move knight captures on C5 and pawn to D4. Those kind of things are possible. So let's go back to the live position. A4, bishop E3. Oh, this actually kind of happened. Knight D7, rook FD1, bishop F1. Okay, some interesting ideas. I would have thought that he would play instead bishop E2. But okay, bishop F1. And now we have the current position. All right. So let's check out the final game. That's the game between
Bomo. Both of them former or one-time national champions.
Yeah, they will be looking to get back their title. So knight F3 played by Bomo, D5, D4, C4, and Femi Balogun is well known throughout history that he plays the King's Indian
defense
as black, but yeah, it's surprising to see him playing the solid Queen's Gambit decline. But like you mentioned earlier, you said that he has been expanding his
repertoire.
openings.
Yeah, sure. Because actually, according to some, solid players, like great players that I know of, for example, there is even this guy called, there's this international master in South Africa. When we interviewed him recently, when he was talking about Nigerian chess players, he mentioned the likes of Odirowski, and the only thing that pops to his mind about Odirowski is about playing the London, the Alekhine, and the Semislav. Do you understand kind of a thing? So it's like if you want to go all the way out there, you can't be limited to one particular set of opening because according to him, that one opening limits your ideas level. Yes, because you have limitation with you have limitation with the structures, you have limitation with the some ideas, and by the time you start playing against grandmasters, do you understand, that are well versed, you will realize that they are just going to be cruising through. Do you understand? So, well, I picked that, and also this man also said it. The coach of Pragnananda, GM, that wrote the book.
Ramesh.
Ramesh, yes, Ramesh RB. When we had an interview with him, thanks to the Discord server, thanks to the former national champion Faole John Oyemi, who was championing the course then. The man also said it, it's like you can't just sit down with one particular style and you think you can get past many things. No, you have to be versatile. And I remember also the time Magnus Carlsen was discovered. Was it Magnus Carlsen? Yeah, I think Magnus Carlsen was discovered. There was a young man that said, there was a grandmaster then that said he called on, no, I think it was Gary Kasparov. That he called on his fellow men and said, have you seen that guy? That he serves with both hands. What does that mean? And in fact, I heard that word for the first time. Someone serving with both hands. I was thinking, so you mean Gary Kasparov plays table tennis or something? Like, no, he plays the E4 and he plays the D4. So something like that. So it's making sense. I think I understand. If he is going with the advice of the greats, playing different openings, of course, we will see it. Tell, especially for this championship, we'll see a different thing, 100%.
ED5, okay, ED5, CD5, ED5, Bishop G5, going for some Carlsbad structure. I have tons of experience playing the white and the black side of this opening. So pawn to C6 is played, and then one of the ideas here is that black wants to get his bishop out into this diagonal. So his next move makes a lot of sense. G6, with the idea of playing the move bishop to F5. Bishop to H6 is played, bishop to F5, queen to C1. To be honest, I do not really believe in what FM Kiyihabomo is doing right now. I play these positions and I don't know if you can waste so much time in the opening to do this. I mean, even the simple move, bishop F8, I think easily solves the problem. Knight G4 also might be interesting. So, okay. Knight D7 is played. H3. That's a bit surprising. Bishop F8. Queen H6. And the move Queen F8 is played. Knight E4. Knight captures. Pawn captures. Knight G2. Knight B6. And okay, we have this as our current position. So some interesting things have happened after the move pawn to H3, and that led to this position. Okay, so I think we have looked out a bit at all the opening games. Let's quickly check out what maybe any development has happened in some of our star games. One of them being
which is a quick fence game.
Yeah.
I already have them on live feed over there.
Yeah.
And any new thing after?
So for those who don't know, Quick Pen is the one in playing the black pieces in the black shirt, and Tersee is the one playing with the white pieces in the white shirt. So Bishop D7 is played. Knight C5. That is quite a move. I wasn't expecting that. Bishop to C6. Queen E3. It seems like a bit of strange moves too. Okay, and then Knight D7. So for me, Quick Pen has been developing her pieces consistently, while White has played a knight to C5, played the knight to D3, Queen has come here. So, but position still looks very fine. Knight captures. pawn captures, and immediately rook to d8. Of course, challenging for the open file. Bishop d3 and b5. So b5, of course, both sides are castled on opposite sides. So white is trying to attack on the king side, and black is trying to attack on the queen side. So by playing the move b5, she's trying to say she wants to play the move b4. She's trying to say she wants to play the move b4 and try to open some files for the rook. Open some files for the rook. So this makes me, wonder if maybe the move rook here would have been better, so that when you are playing the move pawn to b5, this rook is already on the correct, on the correct position.
File there.
Yeah, maybe a4, b4. But okay, I think both probably are fine. Both probably are fine. So this one comes more like a pawn sacrifice. It looks like, although I don't know if you would dare capture such a pawn on a7, with the fact that you'll be opening up.
That was actually the pawn sacrifice is not looking like a sacrifice, but it looks like a bait.
Yeah.
Because now that was why she moved the rook, so that she can trick her opponent into taking a free pawn. Now you imagine those kind of, hey, touche. And you just go pawn grabbing, and of course, the fact that you are a member of the Pawn Grabbers Association does not mean you have to grab some poisonous pawns.
Yeah, but it's not as easy as that. For instance,
because
queen d4.
Queen good d4, right?
Yeah, because you have the idea of maybe playing queen b4 and exchanging queens, and it might not be.
No.
easy.
First things first. How about won't the second rook now joining into attacking?
How do you want to do that?
The rook attacks the queen.
Yeah, rook attacks the queen.
First, then you have to leave again.
Maybe queen to b4. Well, maybe this is not good. Maybe queen g5 and black is better.
Queen g4 check.
Yeah, queen g5.
Queen g5 says queen g5 check.
Yeah, and black is probably better.
And now even there's harassment of rook coming to a4. You don't want to fall into that kind of
so
thing.
probably definitely you should not take this pawn on a7. But then if you don't take the pawn on a7, what should
you do?
Yeah. So this second game is the one. Okay, so before we go to this other game, so like we said, castles on opposite side. When you castle on opposite side, usually you want to try to attack your opponent's king. So this is also probably why Tersee is playing the move h4, probably with the idea of rook h3 and rook to g3. This maneuver for the maneuver of the rook to this half open file to g3. So probably the b4 and rook. Yeah, I was mentioning about rook h3.
Rook h3, rook left.
Rook g3, and then maybe b4.
b4.
Yeah, but okay, the other game that caught my eye in the female section was this game. So let me see if any developments have happened there. Okay, f4 was played, bishop h2, castles long, all right?
Everybody's castling long.
Yeah,
is it just me? How many games have they castled long right now? We've seen. Is it not 3?
Yeah, people are in the aggressive mood. They are trying to win.
Everybody wants to win the national championship. Oh, it's not a walk in the park. Are we seeing C4 next? Because I'm wondering why the knight is there.
Yeah, the knight is just trying to cover the c4 square and the b3 square, just in case, because I mean, we've already discussed this. Once you have castled on opposite sides, you probably want to start opening up lines there. So black was already thinking about knight a5, pawn to a5, pawn to b4, or stuff like that. Maybe rook to c8, trying to put pressure on this side of the board. I'm actually even surprised about the move rook ae8, like rook a8. I would have thought that the immediate knight b5 would have been played. All right, let's see. Let's try to go back to the male section, the game between Kei Musa Lucky Okay, so we're looking at the easiest solution there. We said the easiest solution was probably to just take on a3, and that was what FM Ajibola did, followed by bishop d7.
Okay, they're still on their game, and coin has been exchanged.
Interesting.
That passed pawn might be a thorn in the flesh.
Yeah, but how do you keep it? Let's say you play the move rook d8. Okay, but you are taking on a5.
Mm-hmm.
Taking on a5.
There's taking an a5, there's taking an a6 looming.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if you want to take it, but both
So
of them are
how-
having. But both of them are having. Oh, white is a pawn up. No, it's the same pawn.
Yeah.
Equal pawns. But how did he get to this position for crying out loud?
Well, from where we were talking about,
Yeah, we're talking about the bishop. Remember we talked about the bishop taking the knight, because that was the best move we said for the bishop. Yeah.
d5 is played, rook e5 is played,
Oh, okay. Now get out the got here now.
bishop e2 is played. The bishop is, the knight is kind of trapped.
Yeah.
Bishop captures, and d6 is the current position. Actually, I would have thought that white is a bit better. White is a bit better here. Has easier play. Some rook here and stuff. Okay, I'm curious about the game between FM Abdurrahman. Let's see how that game has progressed. So here we last left it here. Knight captures on h5 was played.
Bishop in there, yeah.
Okay, and we said I think Chief Wills later said he preferred the bishop capture.
Bishop takes, yeah.
Yeah,
Attack
because the knight, it turns out that maybe it doesn't really do much here.
from there, yeah, sure.
So knight here, rook d8. So this was Callistus' specific idea that if the bishop should go out of this diagonal, black would just
And the knight
immediately
can have
play
this.
knight g3. But Abdurrahman does not
When-
even allow that.
exactly.
First of all, he lured the bishop, the rook to come
away.
to d8, and then he played the bishop back here. Now, rook to b2, taking over the open file. King to d2, making sure that this square is covered. cd4, cd4, king h7. That is an unexpected move. King h7.
But I don't know. Is the king trying to come through h6 or g5? I don't know.
It's an interesting move. I think it's more a waiting move. Black is just waiting and saying, all right, let me just wait and see. But, it looked like more to the point might have been ideas of rook here, trying to double up rooks or something. I don't know. But it's such a strange move. Rook, king h7. King h7. Wow. It would never have occurred to me. Bishop e2. I think rook a7. But then why did you play king h7?
Exactly.
Rook c1, of course. White. So what white wants to do is he wants to try, even if it's possible, he would not mind exchanging off all the rooks. If all the rooks go off the board,
the king is closer to the pawn.
yeah, the king will just march here. There will be nobody disturbing him. Yeah.
And the knight is not still going anywhere until the bishop moves. Oh no, wait. Before the knight can move, it needs two moves to happen.
No, it can move immediately. But the only thing is that
To his reasonable square.
Yeah. It would be so far away. Like all these pieces, the bishop and the knight, they are so far away from the action.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm surprised by this. I'm shocked.
He just moved the rook back.
Yeah, I think Callistus is not really sure what to do, because this position is such that this bishop is so powerful it paralyzes the entire thing.
Diagonal,
Yeah,
sure.
because you can't challenge the open file, you can't double your rooks, you can't do anything. And if white is just able to exchange everything, it is going to be a lot of trouble. If this pawn falls, the entire black army falls. So I think white is much better here, much better. Is there any other game that is interesting? Please let us know what you want us to see.
What is going on there? Can you please tell me why?
Okay, so let's read some comments from the chat.
Read comments from the charts going on
Yeah.
live and direct before we will read them. And so far so good. People were predicting. A lot of people were predicting who's
Okay.
going to win. Kerry Alagua was predicting that Abiola was going to win. Ajibola is also going to win. There will be a draw on board 3. There will be a draw on board 4, and there will be a draw on board 5, and Bomo wins. That's interesting prediction there. We have Pelomo Jessica also winning. Peace, really? That's interesting. Sandra losing to Azumi. Torishi is going to win quick pen. That reminds me, please let's switch to Torishi quick pen immediately.
Yeah.
Because now somebody is already making this prediction that Torishi is going to beat quick pen. Eunice is going to lose to Chiamaka. Joy is going to lose to Bridget, and Azizat is going to lose to Joy. Okay, I think we still need to get to that female to see what is going on based on this kind of prediction that is going on there.
So what's happening? Enjoying, okay. Well done, okay. Tersee on point. That's how I play that Roy Lopez. Okay, let's quickly
Mr.
check out.
Jide Tobone, how you doing? Long time no see.
Let's quickly
It's
check
good to
out
have you here, sir.
what's happening.
In Tessie's game against Ferdinand and
Against.
against Abiola.
Yeah,
For sure.
Akisha versus Tersee. So
Yeah.
knight d6.
Bishop
and,
takes. Knight in here. Of course, knight is going to f5 as fast as possible.
Queen g4.
That's interesting.
Queen g4. I like it.
Very interesting. Queen takes and pawn push.
Okay, so what I was also wondering was if you can quickly get your bishop to this diagonal.
And attack that pawn. So that explains the immediate b5.
But what about a5? Is a5 your move? Trying to.
But what do you want to achieve with a5? That's the
I
first
just
question.
want you to capture and get my bishop to this diagonal.
Why do I have to capture again?
No, but
it isn't
then
as if it is
how are you going
compulsory.
to answer this pressure I have here on
Oh.
your pawn?
There is no big deal. With the second, can't the second bishop actually do the job? The bishop can do it. The bishop can actually go to d7, d2 to keep an eye on that.
All right, so
So I
bishop
don't
d2 is what you would do.
Looks possible after your a5, I think. Bishop d2. So you still won't get that chance
But
after the pawn exchanges.
pawn
Takes,
captures.
pawn takes.
And then what are you going to do here?
There's bishop and rook with it, isn't there? In fact, rook takes pawn. Rook takes pawn. Rook takes pawn. Rook takes rook. Bishop takes rook. A tempo on the rook, and you still have the chance to go back immediately to even protect the pawn if you want to.
Yeah, but then this rook becomes very active.
Sure.
If you
it
come in
is,
here.
yeah, it is
I don't even like this position for white anymore because the rook has become too active. Well, yeah, I think there should be a way to defend. But a5 is probably one of the moves I would consider here. I'm not sure if I would play it, but that's the first move I would consider.
But okay, after a5, can we kick the knight immediately?
Yes, of course.
Okay, if you don't want to kick the knight immediately, we can even still drop our knight. There's nothing wrong with dropping our knight immediately on f5 also. If the bishop comes to c4 is
Definitely.
our problem.
Yes, definitely. it's
So
possible.
I think it's, in fact, knight to f5 is probably the best move right now. Double pieces hitting on the bishop.
Yeah. Okay, so the b.
So that forces you back. Then we can now kick your knight away. Maybe.
Yeah, No, I agree. So what? b4. Okay, knight f6, trying to put immediate pressure on this pawn. f3. So, but what about g6? Okay, there's bishop captures here.
Sacrifice takes the pawn on h6.
Yeah,
I missed the brave Dave is actually saying he's enjoying the analysis. He's spot on. He's spot on and he's learning. That's interesting. Of course, who else is the better instructor to learn from if not the formidable Lakuto Landrotin? He's a very good teacher.
only your presence here is making this easy.
My presence.
Yes.
That's what we call scam.
That is true.
So
H4.
I shouldn't be the one giving you the inspiration to make things easier. Actually,
B4.
that should be out of my jurisdiction.
Would you consider B3 here?
What, B3?
Yeah, instead of A5. I'm not sure. We don't care about this pawn. We already said we don't care about this pawn, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we agreed on? So we don't mind if our opponent captures this pawn. So if we don't mind, but we want to open up. Why did she play A4? No, but that has to be interesting. I have a feeling that she has an interesting idea why she played A4, because quick pen knows how to attack. So if she's playing A5, it has to be for a reason. But for me, I would want to open up this position as
So
much
you want
as
to take the pawn?
yeah, I want to take, not because I want to take the pawn, but because I want to open up the position.
Okay.
So like
Bishop takes.
bishop takes is a move that
Bishop
I'll consider,
takes, queen takes
and
pawn.
B3 is a move I would consider.
Bishop takes pawn first, after the queen takes pawn next. Is that what you're looking at? The queen takes pawn over there. Are you bringing your rook? Or what are you doing?
Yeah, bring in the rook.
You're bringing the rook. Then queen's. Is it queen d4 back?
Queen D4. Yeah, no, but queen D4, rook D8, no?
Rook d8, then
Then
queen
that's-
e4.
Okay. Okay. Although the king runs, so but I see your point. See your point.
Just some small tutoring in there. Okay, knight f5 is sting as it attacks the bishop and keeps the rook on the open file. Oh, knight f5, knight f5, knight f5. That's the game between Akishe and Tersee, right?
Yeah.
Knight f5, yeah.
But here, I don't understand. Why not B3? Is B3 not a move?
It is a move. The question is it a good move?
Although, okay, there's some discovered attack check. What I was thinking about was that,
Takes,
and then maybe something like rook.
And even at the rook in there, so the bishops, even if the bishop starts going to, of course, is it possible to put the bishop on c4?
No, that's what I'm saying. That even the bishop is not necessary to put the bishop on c4 yet, because there is always a check.
Okay.
But long term, is it not possible to put pressure? Rook b8, rook a8, continue to put pressure. Bishop d5.
What
continue to
the
push.
problem is? What counter attack are available for white in that kind of scenario?
Yes. Maybe it's maybe just bishop c4 defense.
I just wanna take it nice and slow.
I think it's a really good thing that you already decided to go for arbitration.
Why? So what did you say after your bishop c4 here?
Because this your voice, this your idea of your singing voice. I'm glad that you.
Oh,
heard
you
this.
think? Wait, no. In the chess community, right? I know people that know how to sing. For example, have you seen Charles Campbell? Hear Charles Campbell sing?
Yes, it's good.
It's good, exactly. So it's not a function of living the chess. Come on, we have lots of good singers. We know Mani is a good dancer anyway, but the singing, I don't know about. I think I've seen audio. Is it Dapsey or audio? I've seen them sing and play chess, and they have good voices as well.
Wait, some interesting developments have happened. Let me see. Bishop captures at f6, queen captures, knight d7.
Normal.
It captures
Takes. Tempo.
e5.
Tempo.
Wow.
Wait, what?
Very nice.
Because after the pawn takes, the bishop withdraws. I think it's possible that Sandra missed it.
Definitely, she missed it. I mean, the easiest move would have just been to capture, and I think that white remains slightly better here. Like after this bishop captures.
We are having some English by Chess with Christ. He's actually saying that Mani is the best blitz freestyle player. Are you talking of chess knight? Is that knight 60?
No, maybe he's trying to say that.
Oh, you actually want to explain that
Oh,
to me,
okay.
really?
Sorry.
You should know how it roll, man. Yeah, Mane plays well freestyle, including this young man, Michael Cole. No, old man actually, but in a young body. Oh, whatever it is. And Michael Cole, Machiavelli, yes, is also a very wonderful player. And he's talking and he's spanking. Yeah, sure. Many people can do that as well. Lots of people can do that. Do you know Jegede Oluwatoyin? Have you met Jegedizu? Those are very good trash. We call them trash talkers when it comes to chess. Who else? Wait, amongst the chess players that you played blitz with, who do you think trash talks best the most?
No, you can talk about Zlata. You can talk about Mani. Yeah, I think those people, and maybe Udemzu also.
Udemzu
Always likes trash talking. The new boys, you can talk about Tersee and Tolu. They always trash talk when they are playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's in their blood. It's in their blood.
Okay, no problem. So, this happened.
Yeah, maybe the easiest move would have been
Just
pawn
take,
captures
just
and
take
c.
it back, easy peasy.
And maybe Black would try to liberate his bishop, maybe with ideas of maybe e5.
I'm so sure they probably won't play e5. Just
No, but I think that's the idea.
yeah,
So
e5 should be the best move.
Yeah, because
most of the time they play pawn takes pawn.
yeah, okay. So the reason is because Black played rook e8, probably with the idea of playing e5, trying to get the bishop, trying
Out.
to get this bishop out, because that's one of the ideas behind. But after the move, bishop captures e5 was a terrible blunder because it allowed knight captures.
What's going on? Wait, why? What was the idea behind the bishop check?
Well, they usually say that mistakes happen in pairs. So that means that once you've made a mistake, you
have to look for another mistake to join it.
Yeah. You don't, like, your mind cannot believe, what just happened. Instead of you to just take a moment, breathe, like it's a classical game. So just take maybe even like 10 minutes just to breathe and just. But instead of that, you just quickly want to follow it up, with another move, and that move usually turns out to be a blunder again. So unnecessary check.
So, don't let me say it. It actually can be extreme. Anyways, we are hearing right now that there is Rotimi Ajela is also very, very fantastic when it comes to trash talking. I think I've seen you play one point. Yeah. I think even Mr. Fred Fabio also this guy's trash talk.
Yeah.
Crazy trash talk.
The
Crazy ones.
the
Crazy trash talk.
F4.
F4. Okay, you want him to play F4 immediately now?
I don't want.
Or you want the knight to go back?
F4 is not even possible because of the bishop pawn is pinned. But
Pin is not possible. So good. And let's not forget that the knight. Not only is the knight hanging. Not only is the knight hanging right now, the pawn on b2 is also hanging.
Yeah, so this is not good at all. The only problem is that.
And the bishop is also in trouble because the knight cannot even afford. Wait, hold on a second. What happens after knight? Knight g4.
Knight g4, yeah.
Yeah, knight g4. What does it do?
What's the idea?
The problem is after the tempo on that knight, right? If you decide to defend that knight, then g6 comes. Sentence to life.
Yeah, even without g6. So sometimes I'm always telling people that once you have won material, you don't need to win more material. Like, all you just need to do now is get your pieces out into the game. So even a move like pawn to e5, trying to get this bishop out, might even be more tempting to me than doing that. Although, of course, here there's f5, there's g6, but I would be tempted by e5 also.
I'm even looking at just what happens to just the g6 alone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's good. I'm just saying that sometimes you just don't even want to win more material. You just want to. You're already 2 pawns up. You don't need more than 2 pawns to win a game.
It depends on who you are playing against.
In this particular position, I mean. Because here you're already threatening bishop 6 on g4. And you'll be 3 pawns up and with the better position.
No, I don't think President is not that much
much of a
trash talk. No. His own trash talk is very matured, you know. Well, I shouldn't say matured, more like more. He's into corporate trash talk. You know, you can't compare his own kind of trash talk with that of money and Udemski and all this. You can't compare.
I was confused for a second there. Okay, so F3 is played.
Which game was this? That's
Rook to
Callisto's.
C5. Okay, so there have been some developments. Let's quickly check out what has happened in this middle.
Yeah. Bishop went back. So wait.
We stopped here.
Yes.
And then knight f6, quickly
Went
trying
back.
to get back the knight to a good square. Rook e7.
Now what was the point? Now look at it. For the
Captures.
king to have gone back home, so that means that king h7.
Was not the
Nah.
it's not the move in the
Exchange the bishop, and now, the two bishops.
Yes, the two bishops.
The two. Oh God.
And here I believe that it's possible that white is just winning.
There is bishop. There is bishop before also coming, but we don't even need that. Just move the king to b3 to a4, snack on the pawn on a5, and Anita is ready to become a queen for the lovely king.
Yeah, for you to even try to defend, there are two ideas you can try. King here, trying to get the knight to a sensible square. That's
Okay.
one idea. That's one idea. The other idea is to just try to do something crazy and try to find a way to get some pawns moving. But the crazy idea of getting some pawns moving does not seem to work. And the idea of playing king f8, king e7,
E7.
then knight d6, something to try to. But by that time, king e7, let's see, king e7 is played, king b3. King e7 is played, king a5. And already you are about to take the pawn.
Yeah, it's
Knight d6, you just
it's Asho.
take the pawn.
That's what we call Asho Bomoyemo.
Yeah.
Do you know what that call? Do you know what that term is?
No. But
You don't know, really? Asho Bomoyemo.
but the thing is that the a pawn actually, like an a pawn against a knight is
Yeah.
supposed to be, much better for the side with the pawn.
With the
Because
pawn.
knights can't easily fight against an a pawn. So I think that we might just we might already be calling this a win for white.
In fact, according to Mr. Jide Tobun himself, he's saying right there that that was a well played London by AAA. Just simplify the ending with good technique, and these are the people.
Yeah, it looks like a London, but it's not really a London. It's an exchange Slav. It's
Okay, yes.
which he has a lot of experience in.
But we'll come back. Come back. Okay, the exchange slab because of the exchange that came before it. But it still has a London kind of structure.
Yeah, because of the bishop
there is-
on f4,
yes,
it
bishop on
gives
F4.
London vibes. But
London vibes. Yeah,
it's
beautiful chess.
Yeah.
I think someone that plays this kind of chess, so that exchanges that.
Okay, so that actually what we said
Kapov, I think.
is what has happened. King
Yeah.
here, knight e7,
And that king in there.
and then
It's time to
now
take.
is trying to consider if to take or not.
Or we just take the pawn and just keep on grinding with the knight on board.
Yeah, the easiest way, actually we should calculate, but let's not be lazy.
Calculator.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
So the question is, if king captures, there is knight c4. And you don't want to capture generally because it would be like an opposite colored
Colored
bishop.
for the end game.
However, let's not just judge it on generalization. Captures.
Cap cut. Then you go for the pawn. You go for the pawn immediately. King b4.
Okay, king b4.
Yes.
Bishop d3 or
That's the bishop. Not that bishop. Sorry. Bishop d3. You're saying bishop d3. Then now easily, will it be possible
Okay,
to start
so-
pushing?
So it's not as easy. This is not the cleanest way. It's not the cleanest way. So let's check out the other one.
Another way is after this take. Wait, put the knight back.
Where?
No, after the knight exchange, bishop takes the knight. King goes. Instead of king going back, How many moves is it going to take the king, that pawn, to promote? 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, a moves. Can we block the bishop immediately with e4? But it does not work because he has f5 as well. He has f5 as well.
Yeah, but okay, so f5, and then let's say captures.
Capture with the bishop.
Captures with the bishop, and then let's say king b6.
Actually, I don't like this pawn structure.
Yeah, but king b6.
But it's okay. He can promote. Yeah. Yes, this looks interesting. Bishop can stop it by going to b5. I mean to c2, so that one can't move yet.
Yeah.
So I guess instead of going to b6, going to b5 will have probably been the first idea.
Yeah, but still.
The b5 being the first idea.
But
so that way,
there's always some counter.
You can start pushing up. Oh, the check is still there with the bishop, which we're avoiding.
Yeah, there's always some counter. Okay, so let's check out this easiest way. Bishop captures on d6. So this way, if you are winning because it's the same colored bishops. You don't have to be afraid of opposite colored bishops.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you want to capture immediately? You want to capture immediately? Okay,
let's capture immediately. Yeah,
let's
love to capture immediately.
So king c7.
Better. Then we go to the king b5.
King b5, and now your king trying to go to this side of the board.
Yeah.
And using this pawn as distraction.
Exactly.
Well-known ideas. So king captures a5, king c7 has been played. So we are expecting maybe ideas of pawn to king to b5, a4, a5, and I believe that only white can win this game, except
except he flags because he has 36 minutes, so his opponent 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And remember, this time around we need to also be on alert. The females, once they finish the game, we have to bring them in for some post-mortem. Can you please just for some post-mortem? So we have to be on alert. So we have to start keeping an eye out for Sulaiman. I think she's completely cruising in that position against Amori Sandra.
Okay, let's see what happened. Knight captures f7, trying to sacrifice the knight to get bishop g6, trying to win the exchange.
But to what ends?
Yeah, but
we have 2 bishops, don't forget. We have 2 solid bishops.
e5 already looks like a move that's just hold, except there's a trap there. Is there a trap there?
I'm not saying it.
e5. Just e5, getting this bishop
out
as much as possible. And it's not just about the bishop, it's also about the rook.
The rook as well.
Yeah,
sure.
So because a lot of my students, I always try to tell them, yes, you have already won material, but just this bishop in the game would not win you the game. It's true. So just get your other pieces into the game. e5 has to be played somewhere. If it's not a tactical problem, I think that e5 is the way, and probably we'll get a result there soon. But let's stick with the male section and see what's happening.
If this comes to reality, as we're looking at Abdurrahman right now, and there is a message from Brave Dave. He said, "Madness has truly arrived." That is
fair.
Yeah. What did you say?
That is fair. That is a fair way to put it.
Abdurrahman is dark in complexion, actually. But look at it. Look at the end game.
Yeah. So he played the move pawn to f4, trying to make sure that there is no pawn breaks at all, and the pawns will remain on these light squares, so that it will be easier.
And the bishop to wrap them up in the not too distant future.
Yeah, so this looks already
GG's.
Yeah, this looks like game over.
Imagine that one now with on Akalisto's clock, it's gonna look like 10 seconds.
But I'm so surprised. I feel like he should have foreseen how difficult this position would be by giving up.
By giving up what?
His bishop, like giving up his bishop here with all these dark square weaknesses. I'm just so shocked because this bishop is so strong. I'm so shocked that that he went in for this position. Like, I'm so shocked to give up this bishop. It's almost it's crazy. It's crazy. And well, shout out to Abdurrahman. He played some really nice moves.
Yeah.
Prophylaxis here. After a5, realized the idea of the opponent is to play rook a7 and rook b7. So he quickly played the move rook a2.
Rook a2.
Getting ready to bring the rook to b2.
First. Get there first.
Yeah. And then also the move pawn to f3. Very important move in this kind of positions. Limiting this.
The knight.
Yeah, limiting the knight.
Sorry about that. There will be change of power source in less than 5.
Yeah, limiting
1 minute.
Yeah.
It's usually within 1 minute.
Limiting the knight and getting ready to expand on the king side. Getting ready to expand on the king side with moves like pawn to g4. So yeah, I don't really know. Maybe we can't. Maybe there is nothing much we can say about this game. I think that
we just want to watch the technique. Probably we just carry the.
But okay, Kalistos is trying to resist. He's playing f6 with the idea of playing bishop e8. But yeah, just king here, and then king comes to c5, and then when you are ready, you can play the move maybe bishop b5 and pawn to a4.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the king is just coming to c5, and it doesn't. Okay, there's nothing really happening there. Okay, so we'll wait, and maybe we won't go back to that game until we get a result. But there were some interesting games happening. Wow, this one is crazy. We should probably check it out from where we stopped.
Okipo is someone that doesn't like losing.
That's interesting. I don't know if any chess player likes losing.
No, I'm saying his mental approach towards every game. We fight. It's a fighting game. To him, it's not like if he's gonna take a draw, then definitely there was nothing there anymore. Honestly, some people are comfortable with draws. But him, nah, we die here. So I'm even happy for him joining. Now sacrificing a knight for 2 pawns.
All right, so we should really see what happened here. So h4, trying to keep this king side closed, the structure. Knight here, bishop g2. So this is actually a very well-known idea in this kind of positions. You sacrifice on d5. Sometimes it's with a bishop, sometimes it's with a knight. I once had a position like this, and I did not sacrifice my piece, and I later regretted because there was no way to win the game. That was against Kei Musa Lucky in NFOC, I think 2023. But here, Bartholomew sacrifices, and I think that you have full compensation for this sacrifice. Full compensation for this sacrifice. With ideas of d5 already. f4, gf4. Knight captures on f4 and d5. But okay, let me go back a moment. So after bishop here, I know you want to keep the bishop, but it's so tempting also to consider.
So consider bishop takes knight.
Yeah, consider bishop takes knight. Like so many moves to consider. So I'm wondering. Let me even see how many minutes it took. Okay, it took quite some time because there are so many options. You want to like try to find the one. There was also this move pawn to b5. Like let's say with the idea of let's just make a move, a terrible move, just to show. Maybe bishop captures.
Bishop takes, rook takes, then pawn.
Yeah, winning a third pawn, but so there were so many options to consider. So I'm not surprised that it took like about 8 minutes there to think about that position. Okay, I mean it's interesting. Rook hf8.
Whoa.
So I think these 3 pawns provide enough
compensation
with the 2 bishops and the 2 rooks. But also there are so many string
Counter.
things, yeah, around this black king, around this white king, sorry.
At one point or the other, Black might need to sacrifice his knight's one of his pieces back for some of
yeah,
his pawns.
yeah, yeah. I
Or
agree.
else.
Might be a bit of.
Or else. In fact, I'm even seeing something funny right now.
So
I'm seeing something very, very
why
funny.
to play?
Is it white to play now?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing something funny. I'm
What are you
seeing the
considering?
funny knight bishop takes pawn on f2 for black. I'm saying from the black perspective.
Yeah, bishop
Bishop takes
pawn.
f2 is a
And
very
then knight
scary and
h3.
knight h3. It's a very, very scary. If that is achieved, I'm sorry, those 3 pawns at the top there are they're just on vacation. They're not doing anything.
But every move you play comes with tempo. So pawn to c6. How are you responding?
Yeah, from black's perspective, pawn to c6.
Yeah, pawn to c6. What do you do?
Pawn to c6. The only move I have right there that makes a little bit of sense is just king going back to c8.
King what?
King going to c8.
Okay, king to c8. Now we remember your threat, so we can just easily make a move that takes care of that threat. Rook a2.
Rook a2.
Takes care of the threat.
No, it does it. Okay,
For
there's
now.
still knight check coming. Right? I'm coming, knight check. What happens after knight check?
I'm getting ready to play pawn to d6.
I'm even trying to understand what would happen immediately after the knight check.
The knight check, well.
No, I'm still trying to see what else do I have after knight check? What is the king going to? What do I do next after knight check? Or should I just play the g3 immediately? It's always a function of what do I have next. Should I do g3 immediately?
This is like this position is like
It's double-edged.
yeah,
right?
is what you call double-edged. This is really the game.
Because the reason why I had to go to king c8 when the first time because I didn't want any attacking tempo moves.
Yeah.
So
It
that's
was
why I
a
had
very
to go.
like I said, you are a strategically brilliant
Thank
player.
you. Thank you. That's why he tells you guys on live stream. Off the screen, he says something different.
No. I've told you off the screen. I said
He has not said it off the screen.
I said it yesterday. I said your strategic thinking.
Show us evidence.
Okay.
And somebody was saying something the moment it took the light the other time. I'm seeing a kind of message like, thank God for DGT before positions change while light is out. Because probably that you are winning as light off, come back, your queen don't disappear from
know about that one.
2 children who were playing chess. One of them was my student. So apparently when he was playing,